Well, you're just going to have to take a look at the charts here. And for Crow, we are seeing it fall down to 10 cents today, which is pretty tough. But, Bitcoin's down to $91,600. And this is something we've been discussing so much on this channel that I took advantage of the opportunity to trade this market myself. And I've been showing you guys that I have been shorting Bitcoin. I mean, think about this. I've been bullish on this channel for 4 years, thinking that there would be some eventual market cycle top. I never used to short the market, at least not this frequently. And I opened up this Bitcoin short because I just had a feeling that we could potentially, based on the 4-year cycles, find this top. So this Bitcoin trade of mine is $3,500 in the profit now. Every day now I wake up, it's a couple $100 more in the profit because the price of Bitcoin just keeps falling. And if you guys want to do some trading, whether you think we're going to find a bounce, and there are some people out there like Tom Lee who thinks we're going to find a bounce. I'm going to talk about that in a second. But if you guys want to trade a bottom or, continue to try to short the market if you believe we're going to a bear market, either way, you can do that over on Blowfin. And when you sign up for Blowfin using our link in the description down below, you'll get access to our private Discord server. There is also a deposit bonus for first-time deposits if you haven't signed up for that in the past. Let's talk about this market. Let's talk about the potential for Crow to find a bottom at 10 cents and Tom Lee and his Ethereum bottom prediction. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, guys. This is a clip that was on CNBC this morning. And this is Tom Lee, who I've been talking more about lately because, well, everybody's been talking about him. But what I've been complaining about with Tom Lee and these predictions everybody's been toting lately is they've been taking old clips of him. Well, this clip of Tom Lee today actually is current. Okay, I believe this was today. Well, the price of Bitcoin was at $3,000, right? And if you take a peek, here we are. It's actually at 2,900. So pretty accurate in terms of when this quote actually came out. But he just came out on national TV and said, Ethereum will bottom this week. Literally says it right here before it transitions. He literally says it right here. He says, personally, I think Ethereum will bottom this week or could find a bottom this week. So for Crow, if Ethereum finds a bottom, Crow hypothetically could and should too, right? The thing is, though, is right now we are falling below this 10-cent level. Our next level, guys, is truly 8 cents. Right about here, 8 cents. I didn't want to have to draw these lines in, but you can definitely see there's going to be some kind of floor around 8 cents where we've had a couple wicks. Call it 7.7. I feel like 8 cents is the level, 7.9. And then below that is the bottom of this brutal wick that we saw back on October 10th. Now, Tom Lee in this video, giving hope to Ethereum and hope to CRO, also notes that the reason we had this big sell-off and the reason of this market weakness is all because of this massive liquidation event on October 10th. So what we might need to see is the completion of the filling of the wick of this liquidation event. What we might need to see, in my opinion, and I don't think Tom Lee is right here. I could be wrong. Again, maybe that guy has a better opinion on it than me. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Either way, predictions are just that. They're predictions. They are not facts. Everybody wants to make a prediction. I think there's a chance we could easily see Ethereum come down to $2,300. What do you think happens to Crow if Ethereum comes down to $2,300? Probably 8 cents, maybe even 6.8 cents again. And that's crazy, guys, because when you really look at it, for Crow to come all the way down to that level, that's an 83% crash. That's a brutal, brutal crash for CRO. And that is looking like a bear market. Bitcoin is also kind of looking like it is in a full-fledged bear market. Now, this is still a retracement for Bitcoin that's within reason. We've seen 30% retracements for Bitcoin during the middle of this bull market. Here's a good example. There was a 30% crash back from the high that we saw in January 2025 to the little low that we saw in April 2025. Now, we are currently almost down that 30%, but there is still room for Bitcoin to just have a classic 30% retracement. The problem is we're not sure whether this is just a crypto crisis because of the liquidation event or because of a broader bear market. Now, Tom Lee says it's just because of the liquidation event. Now, I've been saying that I think it's because of a broader bear market. Now, that's why I'm trading this market the way that I am, because if there's a bear market, I want to make sure that I'm taking advantage to the short side. That's me, in my opinion. And I'm doing that over on Blowfin. And again, if you sign up for Blowfin using our link in the description, pinned in the comment section, you will get access to our private Discord as well, where there are some trade signals happening there. But again, you got to do your own research, my friends. Everybody's got different levels of what a support and resistance are. You've got to kind of take all that out there, all the information you can get at your disposal, and make a decision for yourself. That is the way you got to play these markets. So Tom Lee is making his decision. He believes that Ethereum will bottom this week. But how is Tom Lee's prediction track record for crypto? And can he save CRO, right? If Ethereum bounces, I think that CRO can bounce. So is he right? And is CRO about to have a bottom as well this week? Here's the problem. He's had some accurate predictions, but he's often described as a perma bull, right? So even as the markets are crashing, what is he? Still permanently bullish, right? There have been some good predictions. He isn't really market participant, but his current stance and potential conflicts. There are potential conflicts. And one of them is that he is the chairman for BitMine Immersion Technologies, and he and his company have loaded into an aggressive strategy, accumulating large amounts of Ethereum for his corporate treasury. So, of course, he is in his best interest going to go out and be bullish about the crypto market, about Ethereum publicly, because he really does want it to go up. He wants the price of Ethereum to go up because he is losing money when it goes down. Now, so are all of us, right? But not all of us have the power that Tom Lee has to go on the internet and make some of these claims. Something else that I noted was I noticed that Chris has been just generally relatively quiet lately. It's interesting, right? It's kind of bear market vibes because as things were going well, Chris was very vocal. He would respond to people. He would do replies. He would put out posts. And there's not a ton of that going on right now. He's not really replying to a lot, like almost anybody on X. When things were good, he was. And so kind of just a level of psychology that I like to think about, like when everybody's really, 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 really bullish, there's probably a top coming. When everybody's really, really bearish, there's probably a bottom coming. And that's why I believe that Tom Lee can come out and say these things, because there is some logicalness to, potential bottom coming based on what we're seeing here. But keep in mind, guys, there is a 4-year cycle. A bear market in a 4-year cycle typically lasts about 390 days. We've only been in, if this is the true bear market, the bear trend for, a month now, and there could still be a long runway left. Let me know what your thoughts are on CRO, on this market right now in the comments down below. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. 2 videos here if you want to check them out. I'll see you in the next one, y'all. Peace.